Alrighty, welcome everybody. This is the beginning of a 3-month program um, where we're going to lay out basically everything that we do here. So I just want to welcome everybody here. There are going to probably only be about 4 or 5 people here live, and then we have about 5 other people who just don't have the time to be here for the live session. So there's going to be 5 of you. You guys are going to be in the hot seat for questions and interaction. So um, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So over the course of the next 3 months, my goal is to transfer basically all my futures trading knowledge to you. So I've been at this for just under 10 years and probably have been focusing in on the S&P for about, I don't know, 7 years now. So I'm trying to take everything that I've learned and all the mistakes I've made and boil it down into kind of an easy to understand system, and just get you everything that I've learned. So teach you how to read market movement and direction, how to forecast and anticipate upcoming moves, and determine the best trade setups to get into. Teach you the most important tools to use, and then there's going to be concepts that you're going to have to, I guess we're going to learn at first, but you're going to have to implement them into your own trading habits. And if you can implement these strategies, these are the strategies that will help you to become consistently profitable, which is really always that carrot that's being dangled in front of all the traders' faces. How do I consistently make money? Some people will come into the market and will make $10,000 in a day and think that that's a realistic thing you can do day in, day out. And usually what happens is, you have some success and then it all drops, the bottom drops out, and you're just struggling to get any type of consistency. So we'll get into all that stuff as the course goes on. And then in doing so over the next 3 months, hopefully you'll understand everything in the trading system in detail and should be able to do it on your own and even teach it to other people. Another thing that I want to do over the next 3 months is help you to discover your own trading style. So there are a few people that, oh, there's Neil again. Let me just bring him into the, okay. So I want to help you discover your trading style. So there are a number of people that came in and they're like, do you have a system? Does it work? Great. I'm just going to follow it perfectly. The problem with that is that we're all different people. We have all different backgrounds. We have different personalities. We have different personality styles. All that kind of stuff is going to come into play when you're actually trading by yourself. When it comes down to it, it's not really the system you're using or the tool you're using. It's yourself and whether or not you can execute the system when you get your signals. Can you get through the ups and the downs? And that's all going to play into what type of trader you're going to become. Do you want to scalp? Do you want to be in and out of a trade really quickly? You're right or you're wrong. You take your money. Do you want to place a trade and watch it play out over the course of a day or 2 or 3 days like a swing trader? Or are you more of an investor where you want to get kind of a broad spectrum idea of what your market is doing, get into a position and hold it over the course of months and maybe even years? So that's going to be important. I think I have a little bit of pride in what I do because a lot of the concepts, a lot of the tools, everything that we're doing is going to be applicable to both sides. So if you're a scalper and you're only looking to take a 1 point trade on the remember this is all specific to the S&P 500, right? The ES futures. If you're looking for a point, that all these concepts are going to work. You're going to have setups. You're going to be able to get your 1 point trade, your 2 point trade, your 5 point trade. But everything also then carries over into those longer term trades. So you might see a setup that could potentially go for 50, 100, maybe even 150 points based on all what the technicals are telling you. And maybe that's your style. Maybe you want to get in, hold on to that thing and watch it go 50, 100 points before you take profit. And again, it's going to come down to how you are, what your personality is like. And so my goal by the end of this is to help you discover what that style is and what you're going to gravitate towards. Again, looking at the bullet points here, are you into using indicators and tools, or is that stuff just busy you up? You'd rather just look at a naked price chart. Those are things. And then, like I said at the bottom here, high risk, low risk. Are you an analytical person? Are you a high-paced person, a slow-paced person? All these things are going to come into, these are going to be important factors into how you actually trade. So, how are we going to do this? And let me just say this right now. I'm just doing a little intro here just to get everyone on the same page as far as expectations and what I plan to do here. And then once we get through this little area, we're going to jump into our first topic for this program. So how are we going to do this? Systematic analysis of my trading system. We're going to be breaking it down into all of its component parts. Ideally, I kind of designed this so that we start out with what I think is the most basic concepts and the more zoomed out stuff. And then as we get into the program, we will be zooming in and getting into the nitty gritty, right? So we're going to have 12 classroom sessions. This is the first one. And the idea is we'll have a classroom session every week for 3 months. And we'll just spend all the time on one specific topic. And trust me, over the course of these 3 months, as things start to build upon each other, it should start to become clearer and clearer as to how they're all working together. So at first, you might see one concept, another concept, think that it's a lot of different stuff, but when they come together, it should all start to make a lot of sense. And so, like I say here in the bullet point, at the end of the 3 months, you'll have a thorough understanding of it, and then how you can use it and customize it to your trading personality. The other part of the program is to actually meet about 30 minutes before the New York Open, which is probably the most volatile and highest volume time on the S&P 500 futures market, and actually see, like, for instance, today we're going to be looking at the zoomed out perspective of market structure or market scaffolding. And so when we go into the live section next on Thursday, we're going to be looking at how the market works within the context of market scaffolding and market structure. And so that way we get kind of a classroom idea of things, and then we go to the real world and look at an actual live market and see how the concept is playing out. And, full disclosure, as you guys, I'm assuming some of you have been trading for a few months or a few years now. As you know, sometimes the market is wonky. We could have some type of news event at 6 a.m. Pacific or 6:30 or 7 a.m. Pacific, and that could completely just misconstrue everything, right? The market, although it has patterns and it's predictable, and I'm telling you, it's not random, right? It doesn't mean that sometimes things just go off the rails, things just don't work. And I think that's probably cooked into the market so that they can take people out. You might have something that works over and over again, and then one day it just no longer works, or it doesn't work for the morning, or it doesn't work for a whole day, and then it come back the next day and it works again, right? So that's the trouble with the market. Although it is somewhat predictable, and although I would say it's definitely not random, you'll see this as we get into the program, there are days where things just don't work. So on top of our field sessions, on top of the classroom sessions, I will give you some weekly exercises for whatever topic we're on. This is not like a formal homework, but I might say at the end of the session, you can now say, do this. And if you want, you can do that and send me the pictures of whatever I ask you to do. and I'll work with you, behind the scenes for that assignment so that you fully understand how it works. And then finally, there is one-on-one coaching. There are a number of you who actually will be with me. I'm meeting with someone, I think, tomorrow and on Thursday and Friday. So I have a few of you in the coaching, probably about half of you. If you're still interested, we can work out, a way to get that going as well. And then you can see at the bottom, I said could be expanded to more sessions if needed. Essentially, if I'm not locked in here, guys, I just trade. I don't have anywhere I have to be. And if we get to through the 24 sessions, the 12 field and the 12 class sessions, and we need another session, or I need to fit another session in, we'll just add it on at the end. And then, of course, everything will be recorded, and my plan is just to have it in one main area. It might even just be right on YouTube in a private setup, so that you can go and watch through these at your leisure, into perpetuity here until the internet, crashes. So let's go through. So the schedule will be Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific, which is our first classroom session today, and then our field sessions Thursdays at 6 a.m. Pacific time, like I said, 30 minutes before the New York Open. And if there's any missed or canceled classes, we'll just go ahead and push the program forward a week. So if we can't make it here, or I'm probably more specifically, if I can't make it here on a Tuesday, we're just going to push the whole thing back another week. And then that field session, we'll either do the field session based off the topic from the week before. We'll figure it out. Maybe we'll even just do the actual class session that Tuesday or that Thursday. But everything will just get kind of shoved forward a week or a half a week. So we're looking at 2 sessions a week, 24 sessions total, this additional sessions if needed. So month 1, and you see I say over the course of 4 to 5 weeks. Again, I don't know if I might be sick one day, or we have to push things back. So it could be over the course of 4 to 6 weeks for each of these. We might be together for the next 4 months. So course of 4 to 5 weeks here, our first 4 sessions, or at least planned 4 sessions, are going to be on very strong levels in the market. And these I've found to be strong, again, just over time, over the last 7 years. Basically, the levels that I find over and over again just work very, very reliably. So I'm going to be teaching that over the next month. There are a number of different ways to derive these levels, and so rather than just have one session on levels and throw everything at you and fry your brain, we're going to break it down and go through this very systematically. Month 2, we're going to get into signals and indicators. And let me say this, I would say that almost every topic that we get into here over the next 3-4 months could potentially be a trading system that you could make money with. So for instance, like today, we're going to be looking at the larger market structure, or what I'm calling market scaffolding. You could make a trading system out of what we learned today and be successful with it, right? When we get into Fibonacci's, you could trade Fibonacci's alone and be successful at it. Again, things aren't going to work every time, and that's where, psychology and controlling yourself, all those type of things, and are going to come into play. But you could potentially just take the concepts I teach you from Fibonacci and create a system out of that. So each of these iterations are also their own individual systems if you wanted to look at it like that. But I think the power in what I do is I'm taking 5, 6, 7 different things that give you good levels and good signals and trying to put them together so we get kind of leverage them all and increase our odds for good trades. So went on a little tangent there, but month 2 is going to be signals. So I'm not really big into indicators. I do you're going to see on, especially on my scalping screen and stuff, you're going to see a bunch of stuff at the bottom. But essentially, all I'm looking for is divergence, no matter what type of oscillator I'm looking at, and that's the main indicator I use. Is typically oscillators are RSI, RVI. I'm now kind of looking at fast stochastic or stochastic as being maybe a smoother indicator to look at compared with RVI. But anyway, kind of going off topic here. So really only looking at divergence off the indicators and how we can then use that to kind of position ourselves in the market at some of the most opportune times. So finding those major turns that turn into 100, 150 point pushes on the ES, things like that. And then finally, the final 4 or 5 sessions going into month 3, maybe even month 4. We're going to try to put it all together, and we're going to get more into trade setups. How are we taking all this stuff that we've learned over the course of 2 to 3 months and actually kind of find really high quality trade setups, low risk setups that could potentially go. I gave you an example yesterday. The only trade I put on the market, it took 2 ticks of heat, a half a point on the ES, and I grabbed 19 points on that final contract I had on there. And then the market kept going, I think another 20, 30 points lower. I don't remember exactly here. But it kept going, I believe, at least another 10 or 20 points from there. And this is from a trade that took 2 ticks of risk on the ES. My entry took 2 ticks of heat and then went 20, 30, 40 points. So just imagine the type of trade setups you're going to be able to get here at the end of the program, where you're putting a trade on and taking, I don't know, 2 points, 2.5 points of risk max, and then the trade goes 50 points, 100 points in your favor. That's the type of stuff that I'm into. I scalped for a few years, had a little bit of success with it, ended up getting to a lot of break-even days where, and again, this is the learning process as you're going, but the scalping for me, it just, the way I look at it is like this. The juice, what is it? The juice is worth the squeeze. What is the quote? It's evading me right now. But the juice needs to be worth the squeeze. I think that's it, right? So if I put a trade on, I don't want to just take a point out of the market. If over time I see that most of my trades go 10, 20 points, I'm kind of not really getting the maximum amount that I could really be getting. And we're going to get into that because it all comes down to journaling and looking at your trades and looking at what these trades could potentially have been had you let them play out. And you're going to find that you're kind of, at least if you're a scalper, a lot of times you're taking money out of the market and you're leaving a lot more on the table. You could have taken a trade and taken $500 out of the market instead of just $150. So that's my phrase. The juice needs to be worth the squeeze. If I'm going to put risk onto the market, it better be worth it, right? So we're going to put it all together, like I said here, and that's the idea. You should have, at the end of the 3-month program, all you should ever need to make money trading in the futures environment.